Welcome back to my channel, guys. Let's talk kitchens, because if I see one more cookie cutter remodel with the same so-called luxury features, I might just pass out and die. And I don't think you guys want me to do that. I get it. Renovating a kitchen is overwhelming. The Pinterest boards are endless, and it feels like everyone online is shouting about the next must-have. But here's the truth. A lot of these so-called upgrades are actually downgrades. Yep, they can date your home, waste your budget, and in some cases even hurt your resale value. So as your interior design bestie, I'm going to share 7 kitchen trends that luxury designers avoid like the plague, and more importantly, what we do instead so that you don't make these costly mistakes. Here's my first hot take. Double islands are really for McMansions of kitchen design. They look impressive in a listing photo, but in practice, they completely kill the flow of your space. Now, with that said, I am actually designing a kitchen right now with double islands, so everything should have a caveat. I'm just saying, if you're thinking about a double island, these are the negatives. And in some instances, like my client's kitchen, it works because the kitchen is in a very big, giant room, and the way that it's laid out is the only thing you can do. However, let's talk about the double island negatives. It is difficult to move through them with ease. And when you have 2 massive blocks in the middle of a room, it forces everyone to really have lots of obstacles. So luxury isn't about more, it's about better. A single well-proportioned island that maximizes prep space, seating, and storage will always feel more intentional and elegant than 2 islands sort of shoved together if you need extra counter space. In certain instances, it makes perfect sense if you have a room that is large enough, a home that is big enough, and clearance all around. But when I see 2 islands shoved together just because, that's when things can go terribly wrong. And by the way, if you're into these kinds of hot takes, the things no one else in the industry really talks about, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I share insider secrets all the time. Where to buy things, where to source things, and it's always a good idea to make sure you get alerted. Next pain body of mine are the hanging pot racks. And they were everywhere in the 90s, early 2000s, in the 80s especially. But unless you actually live in a converted French farmhouse, this trend just clutters your sightlines and instantly dates your kitchen. Not to mention the fact that if your pots and pans aren't perfectly clean, it's just not a good look. Luxury designers today are all about clean, uninterrupted lines instead of pots dangling from ceilings. Invest in deeper drawers with proper dividers, or even hidden scullery where you can store cookware neatly out of sight. It's functional, it's streamlined, and it makes your kitchen feel 10 times more elevated. All right, the next issue. I have a dog, but I am not recommending built-in dog bowls. Why? I love them. I love the dogs. But let me tell you, built-in dog bowls in kitchen islands are a resale nightmare. If you do not sell your home to a dog owner, you're gonna have a problem. I know people think it's a thoughtful custom feature, but in reality, it eats into the valuable storage. It collects a mess, and it feels oddly permanent for something that should be flexible. Instead, you should create a designated pet zone with a chic feeding mat, which is what I have, that feels intentional but not built into your cabinetry. That way it works for you now, and it works for the next owners as well. That's really design foresight. Okay, the next one is a big, big problem for me, and I am very honest with all of my clients who ask for this, and it's the raised bar countertops. They know I don't like it. They're like, I know you don't like this, but I just need it. So this one is a classic builder upgrade that luxury designers avoid at all costs. The split level or raised bar counter, you know the look. One level is for prep, and then one level up is where you can sort of sit and eat, but then it covers the sight line. It makes the kitchen feel really choppy and gives you less usable surface. And I absolutely abhor this. I can't imagine doing a kitchen with it in there. I beg you, beseech you, do not do this. Today's luxury kitchens are all about one continuous slab of stone, wide and expansive, where prep, dining, entertainment can all happen seamlessly. It's modern, it's practical, and it photographs beautifully. And if you want to design it beautifully, for instance, have a large vase on it, it's just going to work. Otherwise, it just does not look great. By the way, if you're updating your kitchen, don't forget the floor. So one of the biggest missed opportunities, in my opinion, in a kitchen that everybody overlooks is a layered rug, because it can soften the space, it can make it more comfortable, it can make it feel more homey. And I actually designed a rug line for Ruggable, which many of you are aware of, and we've got the greatest runners in the collection. I think they are very versatile. I have them in my kitchen on both sides. I have them in my hallways. In fact, I have them all over the house. And my Ruggable collection, I will link below, because if you are looking for that perfect rug that's neutral, chic, and elevates your space, definitely check them out below. Next issue that I see time and time again are wine fridges in the wrong place. So let's talk about wine fridges for a moment. Everybody thinks of them as a major upgrade, and they are. They're quite nice to have because it sort of separates all of your drinks from all of the food, which is nice, especially when people come over, they can help themselves. But what I am seeing is that they are worst possible places you can imagine. They're either next to the stove, right by the dishwasher, under a window where the sunlight pours in. And if you know anything about wine, you know heat, vibration, and light are basically three mortal enemies. And so before popping in a wine fridge or a beverage center, really think about the conditions of the space and how people are going to be utilizing the beverage center. Sometimes it makes more sense to put it outside of the kitchen even, and do a cute little built-in in a space you are using daily where people can access these beverages, or in a morning room, which is what we're doing right now for a client of mine who would like to have her family access drinks and friends access drinks that's visible and in an area that is out of the way of the kitchen when people are prepping and cooking. So not only does it look like a luxury flex, it's actually the opposite. It screams, I didn't plan this kitchen properly. So in high-end homes, if a client really values wine, we plan a dedicated space with proper climate control. Think integrated wine walls and a butler's pantry, or even a concealed cellar zone. If you're not a serious collector, skip the full fridge and style a beautiful bar cart or niche instead. It feels curated rather than forced. Since so many of you asked, today I am wearing the cutest pair of pants I just got from the Frankie shop. My top is Cézanne. It's from the fall collection, and I just love the weight and shape and cut of it. My belt is Saint Laurent. My shoes are an obsession of mine lately. I have been wearing them nonstop. They're Amanu. And my purse is also by Amanu. All right, number 6, we only have one left, and I've saved the most costly mistake for last. So you're going to want to stay for that. This one is going to ruffle some feathers. Too many ceiling treatments in kitchens. So I've walked into remodels where there's a coffered ceiling and faux beams and recessed lighting and pendants, all lighting for attention, and it feels really busy, not luxurious. We have basically eliminated the 3 pendant issue that, was ubiquitous about 5 or 10 years ago. If you already have them, I already have them, that's fine, but let's not put them in now if we're remodeling. The ceiling is really an architectural moment, but you only need one statement. Maybe it's a clean, minimal plaster with beautiful lighting. Maybe it's a single reclaimed beam in the right context. But if you're stacking treatments, you're really diluting the impact. The luxury design is really about restraint and not piling on every idea from the inspiration folder. Remember, I always preach that restraint is one of the biggest powers that you can have as an interior designer. Now, number 7, our last but most important point is the overly high-tech, overly priced appliances. So I have clients who have been saving enough for what would be a small car in order to be able to purchase their favorite stove. And as much as that sounds like a good idea, In fact, a lot of these extremely overpriced appliances are just not that useful. And if you plan on remodeling your kitchen, let's say 5, 10, 15 years down the line, more likely 10 years down the line, which is the average, well, now you have a 30, 40, 50, 60,000, which I've seen, appliance that is no longer going to match your new aesthetic. Also, extremely smart appliances. Some are wonderful, but some are just too complicated. Luxury isn't about buying the fanciest gadget. It's about creating a kitchen that supports your real life. And if you are not tech savvy, then buying the oven that has 800 tech abilities without using them is a wasted opportunity to maybe save and use your money elsewhere. Instead, I would opt to invest in appliances that fit your actual cooking habits and keep your layout streamlined. A beautiful range with great proportions, refrigeration that blends seamlessly with your cabinetry, and thoughtful storage will serve you much, much more than an overhyped range that costs as much as a small village. Now, there you have it. 7 kitchen trends that look good on Instagram, but are actually ruining your remodel in real life. Remember that luxury design isn't about showing off every trend. It's about creating spaces that are timeless, that are functional, and that are deeply considered. And when we make our decisions with our clients, we talk about what's important to them, and then we incorporate the things that really elevate their lives. So think about how you live and make sure that you are really espousing a design ethos that works with your daily life. Now, tell me in the comments which one of these trends surprised you and which one you secretly love, even though you know it's wrong. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Red Elevator, and I can't wait to see you guys again next week because our show and our channel keeps going on thanks to our beautiful community. I read all of your comments, so please weigh in. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I can't wait to see you guys again here next week.